Hello, this is Scott Anderson, EDTE665 final presentation. Uh, to introduce my lesson, I opted to do a Prezi. My end goal in mind was to kind of use the flipped classroom model to post my Prezi on our class discussion or our class wall to have students review the evening before the actual lecture would be given. So that way it would introduce them to the importance of cyber safety and to kind of get their minds focused on what the day's lesson is going to be and to have them come in with kind of an idea what we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to start just kind of introduce my Prezi. Let me get it in full screen here. Okay, so the Prezi that I created had kind of three goals in mind, and that was to have the students will be able to have a basic understanding of cyber safety topic. The students will have an understanding how to identify a cyber danger, and also students will be able to make positive choices with using the internet as a tool. So with those three objectives in mind, I designed this presentation to demonstrate cyber safety so that way the night before the lesson they could start going over it and reviewing it. So my first slide here just kind of introduced cyber safety and the definition that I pulled off of netsafe.org, and that is cyber safety is the safe and responsible use of information and communication as a tool. I do have it muted right now, but there is a voiceover for that that actually reads the students that cyber safety definition. The second slide goes into some cyber safety scenarios, and I'm going to talk about these for just a minute. Each one of these scenarios is a voice, my voice reading the scenario to the students, and the students are instructed to listen to each scenario and then answer the following questions and post your response to the classroom discussion board within Gaggle, and just kind of to show how that classroom discussion board works. I'm going to pull open our Gaggle wall. So we use a learning management system here at Baker Schools. It's right here, gaggle.net. I'm going to log in as an instructor and show you what the students have the ability to do. Within this classroom learning management system that we use, under classes, the students would then have their 7th grade exploratory, the digital citizenship class that I teach. Right here you can see we're on the wall. Right now there is no wall posts created yet, but I would create a discussion board that would then have a discussion board for the students to post those responses to. So the hope is that obviously from home they log into the learning management system, post the response to each one of the scenarios on there, and then that gives me an idea in the morning then before the lecture to kind of see what the students post and maybe pull some of those stories out or some of those responses out so that way we can talk about them during the lecture and why the students felt the way that they did for that lesson or for that scenario. So each one of these talks about an individual named Sam. What did he do wrong? If you were Sam, what would you do? So that way we can have something to talk about during class. Each one of these scenarios was pulled from digitalcitizenship.net. They have a whole bunch of great resources for digital citizenship, obviously cyber safety, and recognizing dangers on the internet. The next slide then obviously goes in. It's just a quick YouTube clip of what cyber safety is. This again, my goal in mind was to have them understand how to recognize a cyber danger and how to be safe on the internet. From there, this was one that we added after my usability study, was the real world application or real dangers, current event articles in YouTube, texting while driving, etc. Texting safety, obviously we have a lot of students that get themselves into trouble with texting while driving. So I wanted to make sure to hit on that while we talk about cyber dangers, because phones are in fact considered in the cyber realm, so I wanted to make sure to touch on that during the lecture. And then of course actual real life examples. These are stories and scenarios obviously of individuals that had cyberbullying, cyber dangers, and actual events that occurred. And so that way it just gets the kids kind of thinking about it, what they post, and think before they post, so that way they understand that what they post is permanent. And then pulled up 2 current event articles that students can take a look at. The goal here was to have the students read each article and post a response of some sort on the discussion board as well. Again, the goal of the discussion board is to kind of give me a heads up as we start the lesson, so that way we can talk about it within the classroom and how they felt about each one of the articles. So ultimately, my learning outcomes I'd hope to have is, of course, cyber safety, the responsible use of the internet, and also becoming more comfortable with navigating and using digital media, having the students go to the Prezi, open the Prezi, be able to view it, and then also be able to interact with that learning management system and doing discussion posts of their own. All of those gets them more comfortable with digital media. Um, and so, of course, the end goal would be to have them then create their own digital media similar to this Prezi, to kind of show what they learned through the unit or through the lesson. I would break them into about 3 groups and have them actually create their own examples similar to this to introduce um, the lesson to, per se, the next group of kids, or online so their parents can view it. So again, this was Scott Anderson, EdTech 665, and this was my final presentation. Thank you.